be the official interview now.
Okay.
Okay. I'm Cyrus Winston. I'm interviewing Greg McCune, and on the topic of Pomona College's alma mater, which something of a controversy recently when anonymous flyers were posted around campus, and it sparked off this debate/research effort into the topic. Can you tell me what your role in this was?
Sure. Beginning last spring, so that's spring '08, I heard about this issue as all other students did from emails and decided to pursue it a little bit more. And I noticed that there was kind of a mention in one of the emails from the president that there was going to be a group formed and there was going to be research done over the summer. So I thought that sounds pretty interesting and I'd like to research this. So I didn't know what the correct routes to do is, so I responded to the email and I found out that the Hart Institute might be offering summer research grants. So I applied for successfully one of those, which encompassed research at Pomona College and then continuing on that research in New England, particularly at Brown, Harvard, Williams, Amherst, and Yale. Unfortunately, Williams was not able to accommodate me last minute, so I ended up just doing research at Brown, Harvard, Yale, Amherst. That's it. And basically, I tried to find out the continuities and the differences between if minstrelsy existed at these schools, first off, but then compared to the Pomona College brand, if you will, and kind of added greater context to the whole affair.
Yeah. So what did you find out when you visited those schools?
Well, to start with the Pomona stuff that I'm sure you've already gone into, I found that basically racially derived theater was very prevalent in this era in our school, in Pomona College. And continuing that on, I found that minstrel shows in particular were extremely prevalent, and that they had influenced the alma mater, which not surprising because I expected it from this, but the degree to which minstrel shows were found surprised me. But I was somewhat of an uneducated researcher in this topic, so that wasn't really too interesting or thought-provoking. But when I went back to New England, I kind of figured, oh, well, these are like liberal institutions, and this is the liberal Northeast, they won't really have this sort of thing. And in fact, I found, starting at Harvard, that they had way more. So unfortunately, this issue that I was kind of hoping might be contained to a few backwoods schools, maybe Pomona College on the desert or something, actually was definitely a national phenomenon on the collegiate level as well. And that although I couldn't necessarily directly find any school traditions influenced by minstrelsy directly, it's very difficult to correctly determine the influence that they had on the student body at the time, because they were,
it's just a thing to do.
It really was.
Yeah, and as I understand it, there are different levels to this. There are professional minstrels who know how to go through the process of making the cork, makeup, and the exact costume. But at these colleges, they would sometimes wear suits, and they would call it vaudeville.
I saw tuxedos, yeah, things like this nature.
So they took variants of it, which weren't actually minstrelsy per se, but they were wearing blackface. Definitely wearing blackface. So on that note, do you think that Pomona College was professional, or were they kind of amateur?
Oh, I think they were most definitely probably amateur, in that, at least in comparison to the other schools I saw, and in comparison to the other research I did about professional troops. By that I mean that other schools sometimes had groups that were, like there was, like at Brown University, there was like a Brown University minstrel company, and that was like a club. They like read the right books, who knows, they might even go to see shows to like research it. And they were quasi-professionals in this, and to that degree, Amherst College equally had, like, for maybe 20 years, a company that every year performed, without fail, several professional shows in main theaters, not on school grounds, on main theaters to raise money. Other troops traveled around the country. As far as I know, even if Pomona was, their students might have been accurately depicting it, they weren't traveling. They weren't really making money outside of the school community. So to that degree, I'd say that they were amateur.
And at the heart of this discussion about it is a question of whether or not Hell Pomona Hell was written for a blackface show. Now we have the testimony from Laux, the writer of the song, and Carl Olson, who was the editor for the '68 music book, who says he found a picture of the show. Now we may or may not have that picture, since none of these pictures are really dated, but what's your thought on that as far as actually?
I think in the face of all the evidence you and I have both seen, the real question should be, why are people trying to deny that the alma mater was almost certainly performed first in blackface? Because there's overwhelming evidence to support that it would not have surprised anyone at the time. It would have been shocking. It wouldn't have been insulting necessarily to any of the groups directly on campus. And I really don't think, I think when we see people who are like saying, hey, where's more proof, it's like, why would they have supplied more proof? It wasn't that big of a deal back then, you know? There would have been no reason to more explicitly than we've already seen.
You know, because if you read the article that reviews the Blackface show, they call it the baseball show, it's just an article and then it's on to business as usual. Like it's just another spot on the page. It wasn't like a big thing.
No, I mean, and that's to be expected. And the fact that it was a baseball show, and like almost all the schools I saw, it was baseball and Navy or crew that were the two sports that were most often funded by these activities. And so I found that to be perfectly in line as well. Why would, if the pattern had been for baseball fundraiser shows to be minstrel shows, and we know that Pomona College baseball shows were minstrel shows, why should we suspect that this one show was not a minstrel show?
Exactly. Just to inform you, some of the claims from skeptics is that perhaps the show was not in blackface after all, even though Laux describes it as a blackface show, and that perhaps Hell Pomona Hell wasn't written for that particular show, since the article that Laux cites only cites one of the songs, which is called Blue and White. But the point here is that there are like multiple songs with the whole school spirit theme that are named Blue and White and Hell Pomona Hell Pride, that sort of thing. And I suppose what we should